Here's my review of The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers. Two films released by the Criterion Collection in this beautiful new 4K Blu-ray 4-disc deluxe edition. This is spine number 1263, and like a couple of films that I reviewed last month, Jean de Florette and Manon of the Spring, these are both based on French literary sources from the Alexandre Dumas novel of the 1840s, Three Musketeers, of course, worldwide bestseller, sensational, translated into all the major languages, and still a pretty iconic and immortal tale to this day. Maybe Jean de Florette and Manon of the Spring are not quite as enduring or as popular, but they're still highly respected. Definitely classic French novels of their time. I think they were written in the 1950s, 1940s, set in the France of the 1920s between the world wars. Beautiful set. They both come in these double wide cases. They both have two 4Ks, two Blu-ray discs, and that's maybe where the similarities end. But I'm really grateful to have this edition. It was sent to me as a review copy by the Criterion Collection. These are really impressive films. There's a lot of movie to be seen in both of these tales. They were originally conceived of as one continuous mega production, a 3-hour plus roadshow epic with intermission and all of the trimmings. High production values. I'm going to show you the trailer in a minute, and I'll offer some more thoughts about the film as the trailer scrolls by. But this is a really outstanding package for people who like kind of big, sweeping, historic period pieces, action, adventure, romance, intrigues, kind of skullduggery behind the throne and in the royal courts and all of that. And of course, a young man's coming of age. I'm talking about the hero D'Artagnan, who has ambitions beyond the modest outlook from his village upbringing. He wants to be a man of stature and importance, and he aspires to be a musketeer, part of the security detail of the king's royal court. And the Three Musketeers do take him into their confidence. At the end of the first movie, D'Artagnan becomes the fourth musketeer. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that trailer, and I'll come back with a few comments after the trailer's run its course.
From the glorious court of Louis XIII to the lustiest taverns of Europe, from the private corners of the royal boudoir to the secret chambers of state, 20th Century Fox presents the lusty, fun adventure of 1974 in all of its raucous, rambunctious splendor, The Three Musketeers. A dazzling display of swashbuckling stars: Oliver Reed, Athos; Raquel Welch, Constance; Richard Chamberlain, Aramis; Michael York, D'Artagnan; Frank Finlay, Porthos; Christopher Lee, Rochefort; Geraldine Chaplin, Anne of Austria; Jean-Pierre Cassel, Louis XIII; Simon Ward, the Duke of Buckingham; Faye Dunaway, Milady; and Charlton Heston, Cardinal Richelieu.
The Duke of Buckingham is in Paris.
Buckingham? Here? Why?
Give me something to remember you by.
The infidelity of a queen, the treachery of a head of state.
You were accused of conspiring with your wife and with the Duke of Buckingham.
The raucous gallantry of a handful of men whose lives are dedicated to pleasure, patriotism, and a good fight.
Send word to Milady de Winter in England. She is to get close to him and obtain two of the studs. How she gets them is her affair.
I have to get to London with this letter.
This is history the way it really was. Romance as it always should be.
I will be safe here.
Oh, yes, Constance.
Adventure the way you've always wanted it. This is the spectacular all-star production of the greatest adventure of all time, The Three Musketeers. One for all, and all for fun.
So with the corny pitch and all of that, the trailer kind of gives you a pretty good sense of what you're in for, although I will say the images that you saw there were not restored, so the 4K and Blu-rays both look a lot better than what you saw in that unrestored trailer. Kind of fuzzy, kind of rough, and of course when it's over the phone you're not going to get a very good image. Having said all that though, this is a beautiful edition. Let's take a look at the cover here. A lot of making of special features here. If you really want to get into the lore of how this movie was made, how big kind of epics with international all-star cast come together, there's a lot of good stories, a lot of interesting sort of anecdotes that fill in the blanks about how this movie came into existence, and a lot of production values, many different sets, architectural locations, costumes are on point, magnificent examples and replicas of life in the 17th century. They did strive for a lot of authenticity in here. The action, as you saw, the fight scenes there, very robust, athletic. Didn't seem like they were fooling around. Those were some real serious blows. There were some injuries attributed to swordplay, and also just the physicality of getting knocked around and having to hit your marks and not always doing it successfully. So this was a very dedicated group of professionals who made this film, and I definitely admire their work. I want to also show you this lovely illustration. It's kind of almost like a Where's Waldo of the Three Musketeers. As you get to know the movie, you get familiar with all the different characters and scenes that are illustrated here. The illustration was by Matthias Adolfsson. I don't know anything about him, but he did a really nice job capturing the playful spirit as well as the very extended cast. There's the stars right there on the cover. Yeah, you saw them all in the trailer as well. But yeah, this is a really lovely package. It would make a great Father's Day gift for a lot of dads out there. Probably a lot of them have seen this movie. This was a pretty big commercial hit in the 1970s, 73 when the Three Musketeers came out, 74 when the Four Musketeers kind of followed up and sealed up the story. They even made a sequel called Return of the Musketeers from 1989, I think it was. It's mentioned in the liner notes here, but there are no, previews or trailers or really much discussion of that sequel, which did have Richard Lester, and it was a lot of the same actors returned as well. So it didn't do quite as well. Maybe the times had passed it by. Even in 1973, these kind of movies were starting to feel a little bit passé or just not really in keeping with popular taste. So even though this one did well, it did not trigger a wave of adaptations following in its footsteps. So yeah, this is a very, very nice addition to the Criterion Collection. There's a lot about the filmmaking to love here, and it's a rollicking story. It's not going to be for everyone. There are going to be some people who just don't have the right mood or mindset to appreciate this, and I get it. It comes at you kind of relentlessly. There's a lot of action, a lot of slapstick humor, and it might not be exactly everybody's cup of tea if you're not on board with it. So, let the trailer kind of sway you one way or the other as far as whether you want to add this to your collection. I think it's a great addition. I dig it, and I think if you're looking for a good, faithful, cinematic adaptation of the great novel by Alexander Dumas, well, this is it. This is the one that you're going to get.